Hey Explorers, Dr. Allen here. I wanted to bring you another segment of our video lessons related to culture and diversity. But instead of targeting culture and diversity specifically, I want us to talk about something that's really important to have established before we dive deeper into talking about diversities among us and cultural differences. And the thing I want to talk to you about today is respect, because respect is something that's foundational. We need to have respect in place for ourselves as well as others if we're going to move forward in our own learning and in being able to interact with others. So when I think about respect, first, the song R-E-S-P-E-C-T, that definitely comes to mind. But in addition to that coming to mind, I think about three different types of respect. That's what comes up for me. First, there's respecting yourself. That means that you're doing things that are in your best favor. If it's really cold outside, it would be respectful to yourself to wear warm clothing, to wear pants. If you came to school wearing really short shorts on a day that it was expected to snow, you're not having a lot of self-respect for yourself. That's one way that you could show self-respect is putting yourself in the situations and the types of clothes that you need to be healthy. The second type of respect that I think of is respecting others. And that goes into almost everything that we do day in and day out. We talk a lot about manners, and after we talk about culture and diversity, I want us to get deeper into manners, especially for our younger grades where you're still learning how to do those things with your peers in your classes. But showing manners is one way to show that you respect someone. Being an active listener, looking at someone when they're talking to you, not interrupting them when they're saying something to you, all of those are really common ways that you show respect to your teacher throughout the day, but that's good for you to also do with your friends when you're out on the playground or when you're just talking, doing group work. The final type of respect is having a respect for property, a respect for your stuff. Because even though stuff is not alive, that doesn't mean that you shouldn't be showing respect to it. You don't want to kick a hole in your wall at home, or you don't want to break a toy, especially one that's not even yours, because that is disrespectful to that item, and that's disrespectful to the person you borrowed it from, and that's disrespectful to yourself because you want to present yourself in a way that is more respectful. You owe that to yourself because you can be respectful and it's in your best interest to be. So I want to dive deeper into how two people can be respectful to one another, because I think that's going to be key in understanding what we need to do when we communicate as we move forward in exploring differences among each other. But before we do that, at the beginning of this school year, I interviewed one of my school counseling friends about respect, and she had a really neat story to share with me about respect of a personal object. So I am going to pan to her for a minute, and then I'll be back with you in about 2.5 minutes. I hope you enjoy.
Okay, so I am Emily Thornton. I'm from Four Oaks Elementary School. I'm one of the school counselors, and I wanted to talk to you about a really neat story about respect. When I first started working at Four Oaks, I used to have this older gentleman who would come and visit me about once a month. He was a sub, and he was a volunteer, and he was very invested in our community in Johnston County. But he was primarily really interested in Four Oaks, partly because he went to Four Oaks when it first opened and was one of the major schools in the county. And so this was all during the 1930s, during the Depression. And so when he started school, when Four Oaks opened for him, he was in second grade. He was put in his second grade. And his dad gave everybody pencils. And I know you're thinking, like, well, big deal, you start school, you get pencils. His dad gave him, his brothers and sisters, all one pencil. And they had to make it last the whole school year. So they couldn't lose it or give it away or chew it up or set it on fire. Anything you would do with a pencil, you had to make it last. And so his dad even told him, he was like, don't sharpen it at school, because back then we had the sharpener where you put the pencil in and you cranked it. And so you didn't have an electric pencil sharpener. And his dad was like, if you put the pencil in there, it's going to eat your pencil up, and it's not going to last the whole school year. So, like, his dad told him and his siblings, like, bring your pencil home, and we're going to sharpen it with my pocket knife to make it last. And so, the whole school year, he had to make this one pencil last. So, how much respect would you have for your belongings? Because, like, we always talk about how you respect people, and you respect animals and the planet, but we don't always think about our things or other people's things. So I want you to think back to like the start of the school year. And so we're a couple of days in now, or several days in, weeks. And do you still have your pencil? Is the eraser still looking good? Have you borrowed somebody's pencil? Did you give it back? These are things that we need to start thinking about when we start thinking about respect, in the sense of it's not just about people, it's also about the way your things, your belongings, and other people's belongings. So it's just something to keep in mind. I just think it's a really neat story, and it's, something that I never really think about. So.
Awesome. So big shout out to Miss Thornton. I really appreciate her having an interview with me like that. And a pencil is really important, right? It's just one example of something that is your personal belonging that you need to be showing respect to. And Miss Thornton was talking about the very beginning of the school year, because that's when we talked about showing respect. But just think about, now we're into the second or third week back from winter break. Did you have a new pencil coming back from winter break? What does that look like? How many times have you sharpened it? Is it this long? Is it down to here now? Because I know sometimes that's a fun sport, but that doesn't work out too well when you're trying to respect your belongings and be prepared to class every day. So that type of respect is really important. But like I said before, I wanted to get back to talking about how we can respect one another as we move forward in talking about differences between each other. To do that, I don't have my little figurines today. I thought I would use some puppet friends. But these two puppet friends, let's say that they were having a disagreement in a group that they were in math. Maybe it was a center group, or maybe it was just a collaborative group where they were working on a project together. But this friend, we'll call him Nathan, felt like they should do their activity in one way. He had one idea for their end product. And this friend, let's call him Billy, felt like that wasn't the right way at all, because he had something completely different in mind. So how could they show respect for one another, because they both think that their math design is the absolute 100% best? What could that look like? Let's see if we can act something out right here. Maybe that'll be kind of fun. Let me see if I can get this worked out and plan this through with having their little mouths ready to talk. All right, so we got Nathan. He's working on his stuff. He's like, hey, Billy, can you pass me that pencil over there? I wanna draw this out in a full circle before we get started on writing our words and our math equations. I'm sure that Miss Taylor's just like, what is Dr. Allen talking about? That's not even the words that we use. So I apologize to my math teachers right now. And let's see, Billy's like, what? No, I don't want to put the circle right there. The circle needs to go in the very top. That's what the teacher said. We need to have it over here instead. And then Nathan's like, no, teacher didn't give us any kind of requirements on that. This is up to us. We get to do this. And instead of clarifying these details and being respectful to one another, they just keep on going back and forth. No, he said, she said, no, we should do it this way. And then no matter what, they're not agreeing, right? So what would have happened if Billy had given Nathan the benefit of the doubt and Billy had trusted that Nathan knew what he was talking about? Let's see what that would look like. All right. Billy's drawing his circle, or he's getting ready to draw a circle. Hey, Billy, can you hand me the pencil real quick? Sure, here you go. What do you need the pencil for? Oh, well, I was just thinking I could put this circle right here in the middle, just like that. Oh, well, I was thinking that the circle would look better over here on the outside, but I really want to hear what you think about this before we make a decision. Why did you think that having your circle in the center would work best? Oh, well, I thought that having the circle in the center would help people to see it better. Maybe we can have more things going all the way around it instead of just at one side if we have the circle in the center. What were you thinking about when you wanted the circle at the edge? Well, I really like how you wanted the circle in the center to have words all around it, but what I had in mind was the circle being at the edge so that we could draw some other stuff in the center. Oh, I like your idea. Which one do you think we should go with? And then they can get into debating their pros and cons, like what would make each design better for the specific program or project that they're working towards. I feel like that may have been a little bit confusing. I hope you could see whose mouth was moving at what time since their voices didn't change. But the big takeaway point from this is they didn't start raising their voice with one another. They kept their voice level and they started asking questions instead of assuming that one of them wanted to do something that was going to make the project look horrible. Because does Nathan want his project to look terrible? No. Does Billy want his project to look terrible? No. Do either of them want to do something intentionally to make the other one mad? No, probably not. I would think not. Usually that only happens with brothers and sisters, and that's not what is happening in your classroom and your teamwork. So let's work on giving each other the benefit of the doubt, and that means when somebody says something and you don't agree with it, stay calm, don't get upset, don't start yelling or assuming one thing or the next. Ask questions instead, and try to compliment along the way the things that you do like. Like, if you didn't like that circle in the center of the poster, did you at least like that it was going to be a circle? Then you can compliment that. I like that you're going to use a circle, but I don't understand why you want it in the center. Think about your words before they come out of your mouth. That's a really important part about actually showing respect and making sure that you're considering other people's feelings along the way. So those are just a couple thoughts for you on respect, and I look forward to diving in deeper with culture and diversity in upcoming lessons. Have a great day, explorers!